So if I was God, I'm gonna let you know just my thoughts and opinions on how I would have booked the last 10 minutes of AEW, the ending to AEW Dynamite, as to whether John Moxley was gonna join Chris Jericho in the Inner Circle or if he wasn't. So again, just being a nerd, if I was God video. First things fucking last. But not, yeah, so the, you have the Inner Circle, Chris Jericho, uh, Jack Hager, Jack Swagger, and Sammy Guevara. And they're just, they're telling Moxley, we'll give you this car, we'll give you 49% of all royalties, and this, and that. And John Moxley says yes. He's like, none of you know my goals, my desires, my dreams, or I don't know if he said dreams, but all in all, he's pretty much just saying none of you know why I've made the changes that I've changed, why I'm here, and what's my ultimate goal. So he says he'll join the inner circle, right? So they start celebrating. They have some bottles of champagne, and they're drinking a little bit of the bubbly and all that. And I'm gonna take a bite from my sandwich right now. Before it gets cold. And after a few minutes of celebration, John Moxley's like, "Oh, by the way, Jericho, there's one last thing I forgot to tell you." And pretty much says like, "I was only kidding," or pretty much says, "I was only kidding," and he breaks a bottle of champagne over Chris Jericho's head, and you know, all in all, the crowd was happy. I liked the ending. For a second, they kind of got me. I was like, "Is he really gonna join?" I was like, "I mean, Moxley's one of their top faces. Would they really turn him heel? Like, then who are they gonna feud now? Who now that Moxley's with in the inner circle, who are they gonna be feuding with? How is versus gonna go?" So I didn't ultimately see it making much sense, and I think it'd be a bad move if they really did go through with it, which I didn't really think they would, but they kind of got me because I'm a gullible idiot and I just want to pretend I'm 10 years old again. But how I would have booked that, honestly, here's the fantasy going forward. You have Jack Swagger in the back, right? Or Jack Hager. What I would have, how I would have booked it. Um, John Moxley would have said yes. He actually would have joined, and it would have been them four, right? It would have been Moxley, Jericho, Swagger, or Hager, or whatever, and Sammy. I would have had out of the fucking blue have Jack Hager turn on all three of them and just start beating the shit out of all of them, and the crowd's like confused, like I mean, there's nothing a fucking wrestling nerd fan. There's nothing more what if than a fucking wrestling nerd fan loves than just getting caught out of the fucking blue, just getting caught off guard and saying, "Golly gee whiz, I didn't fucking see that coming." You know, wrestling nerd fags fucking love that shit, and I'm one of them. So Jack Swagger turns on all three of them. He's kicking their ass. By the way, he had a black shirt and I think black pants. He takes off the black shirt. He has like an American like a custom like American singlet or whatnot, and it has like the American flag on it, like all over, the full body singlet. And in the back, it says "We the People," right? Back of the singlet, and what takes off his shirt, he has that badass American flag singlet. He's kicking all three of their asses, and everyone's just like, "What the fuck? Like what the, where's this going? Whatever, whatever." Because at that point, they're kind of already starting to boo Moxley. Maybe some of them had bought into it too. So Swagger kicks all three of their asses, just throws them out of the ring. They give him a mic, puts his hand over his shoulder, and he says, "We the people." And whether or not the crowd would have been like, if some of them would have picked up on it and they would have gone through with it, or if a lot of AEW fans would have been like, just been like, "This is fucking stupid, dude." But I think it would have been awesome. Um, I don't know if people who don't watch wrestling at all and are watching this is like, what the fuck's this dumbass talking about? And I understand. I'm sorry. To those of you who have an eating on camera fetish, this is why I'm doing this. By the way, why I'm really doing this. So Jack Hager's in an American flag singlet. He's already kicked the inner circle's ass. He already said "We the people" over the mic, and my little dream fantasy, like the whole crowd goes along with them. "We the people." So now you have Jack Swagger as like a huge fucking face who nobody like saw out of the fucking blue. You have a feud that can now live for a while, and it'll be Jack Swagger. Keep him by himself. Don't just start setting him up with like all these other people and say, no, it's Jack Swagger and all these two other random people against the inner circle. No, you keep the little feud booked as Jack Swagger, we the people versus the inner circle. And if it just puts Jack Swagger, I've never really been like a huge Jack Hager fan, but now this puts him over like as one of your top faces. Um, Moxley sold out. He's with Jericho, not and Sammy and those other, forgot those other fuckers' names. Um, and I just think that would have worked. Like long fucking story short, I just think it works. You already have someone a top face who's went from heel to face like overnight, and you could done right, you would make him one of your top fucking faces, and you'll just have a feud that can last. That it'll have longevity to it. It won't just be a feud that like you go all out, balls out with, and then in 2 weeks it's over. Like I felt in wrestling nerd land, you can book we the people, especially at this point that America is in at this point, with um, I won't even. Anyway, the state that America is in right now, I feel a we the people feud versus the inner circle. I thought wrestling fans just would have ate that shit up, and you'd have Swagger over as one of your top, or Jack Hager. Sorry, I keep calling him Jack Swagger, but I think that would have worked. I think that would have worked done right. And you finally have like Jack Swagger over as a face, like legit, and you could just milk that for a month or two. And just, but you always have to have Jack Hager by himself. It's like it's him versus the world. It's we the people versus the inner circle. And you hate Moxley's guts, now you hate Jericho's guts. And I think it worked. It would have worked. And Wrestling Land, I think would have worked. Or not. For the eating on cam fetish fans, gonna go ahead and finish this video eating this sandwich. Um, Mankind agrees with you. So, oh bandwidth, oh where shall be. Hmm. This is a tasty grilled ass ham and cheese sandwich. Anyway, that's episode 376 of Fantasy Booking. Thank you all for watching. What you gonna do? I'll stop. Later.